Late July 2005, Post Falls, Idaho. Lori Timmons walks across the street to her neighbor's yard sale. William Tolson has tables covered with women's belongings, makeup compacts, ceramic figurines, kitchen utensils, a curling iron, jewelry boxes, even eyeglasses. Lori's getting married next week. She could use kitchen stuff. The prices are incredible. She picks up a makeup compact, a manicure set, frying pans. "Why are you selling all this stuff?" she asks William. His face is blank, emotionless. "I woke up in the morning and she was gone," he says. Lori buys everything. When she opens a jewelry box at home, there's still a photograph inside. William's son, Larry. 2 weeks later, William will tell police a completely different story about when his wife disappeared. Roxann Mary Tolson, born December 29, 1959. By 2005, she's 45 years old, 5'2", 110 pounds. Brown hair with blonde highlights, the kind that takes time and money to maintain. Volume for days. Roxanne takes care of herself. Makeup every day, full face. A black Mickey Mouse watch, diamond and turquoise rings on multiple fingers, gold chains with charms, including one that says, "I love mommy." She's sweet, charming, but she struggles with bipolar disorder. Takes antidepressants and narcotic painkillers daily. She's been married to William L. Tolson for 25 years. They have a 23-year-old son, Larry. From the outside, they look normal. A family in Post Falls, Idaho. Quiet neighborhood, house on East Mullen Avenue. But the neighbors hear things through the walls. By 2005, the marriage is severely strained. Neighbors hear them fighting, heated arguments carrying through walls, voices raised, doors slamming. Larry will later tell investigators there was domestic violence. He had to defend his mother from his father multiple times, physically stepped between them during fights. One incident gets so bad, neighbors call police. Officers respond, documented, leave. The pattern continues. The fights escalate. Then in late July 2005, William starts selling his wife's belongings. He tells the neighbor, "I woke up in the morning and she was gone." But Roxanne hasn't been reported missing. Here's William's official story to police in January 2006. August 14, 2005. Roxanne asked him to run errands. He left. When he returned, she was gone. She took clothes, hair products, makeup. He assumed she left because of marital problems. But here's what he told Lori in late July. "I woke up in the morning and she was gone." Two completely different timelines. Late July versus August 14th, 2 weeks apart. More inconsistencies. William told police Roxanne was wearing jeans, then changed his story. Pajamas, pink and white top, blue flannel bottoms. William said Roxanne took her belongings. Larry tells police something different. When he moved into his mother's room in mid-August, it was full of her clothing, makeup, jewelry, photographs. Everything was still there. August 14, 2005. According to William, this is when Roxanne disappeared. August passes, September, October, November, December. 4 full months. William doesn't report his wife missing. Roxanne's relatives try reaching her, phone calls unanswered. Weeks turn to months. January 2006, one of her relatives calls police. That's when authorities get involved. That's when William finally reports his wife missing. 4 months of silence. 4 months where no one was looking for Roxanne. But William was busy. In those months after Roxanne disappeared, William systematically dismantled her existence. He sold her car. Roxanne was the only person on the title. Detective Brenda Smith later notes, "If she was missing at the time of sale, her signature must have been forged." He emptied her bank account. Every dollar. He continued collecting her Social Security checks, month after month. He kept refilling her prescriptions, antidepressants and painkillers for her bipolar disorder, filled them in her name, used them himself, gave some to Larry. He sold her belongings, not just that yard sale. He kept selling ceramic collectibles, kitchen utensils, jewelry boxes, the makeup. January 2006. Lori watches the local news. Missing woman from Post Falls. Roxann Tolson disappeared in August, just now reported. Lori recognizes her immediately. She looks around her house, at the makeup mixed with her own, the manicure set she used that morning, the frying pans, the teapot, the curling iron, the ceramic figurines. She's living with a missing woman's belongings. Lori talks to reporters. "You're telling me this girl went without her makeup? She looked like a woman that spends a lot of time on her face and her hair, and I have all of it. All of it. The makeup, the curling iron, the jewelry box with Larry's photo still inside. If Roxanne left voluntarily, why didn't she take any of this?" January 2006. Post Falls police open an investigation. Detective Brenda Smith interviews William, Larry, neighbors, builds a timeline. Red flags everywhere. William's stories don't match. The yard sale happened before the official disappearance date. Roxanne's belongings contradict William's claims. Detective Smith checks bank accounts. Not an activity since August 2005. Not a single transaction. Credit cards, not used. Prescription records. Roxanne hasn't refilled medications herself, but someone's been filling them. Someone using her name. A woman with bipolar disorder, dependent on antidepressants and painkillers, doesn't vanish voluntarily for 6 months without accessing medications. Roxann Tolson isn't missing. She's dead. Mid-August 2005, Larry gets a call from his father. William's voice is calm. Some changes on the home front. Asks Larry to move in. Needs company. Larry agrees, packs his things. William gives him his mother's room. Larry walks in and stops. The room is full of his mother's belongings. Clothing on hangers, makeup on the dresser, jewelry in boxes, photographs everywhere. Everything is still here. His father said his mother left, took her things. But Larry's standing in a room that tells a different story. His mother didn't take anything. Or she never had the chance to pack. Years later, Larry tells investigators, "Over the years, I came to believe my father probably killed her." A taxi driver calls police. He recognizes Roxanne from news coverage. He gave her a ride to Spokane Airport in mid-August 2005. This could be the break, proof Roxanne left voluntarily. But he adds disturbing details. Roxanne had a swollen eye, bruised wrists. She looked beaten. She told him she wanted to get away from her husband. Detective Smith investigates thoroughly, checks dispatch records, interviews airport staff, checks security footage, flight manifests. Nothing matches. No record of Roxanne anywhere. The detective concludes the taxi driver is lying. But the description, swollen eye, bruised wrists, fear, paints a picture of what was happening in the Tolson house. The investigation focuses back on William. February 2006. 6 months after Roxanne disappeared. Police arrest William and Larry. Not for murder. They can't prove that without a body. They charge both with fraud, filling Roxanne's prescriptions without authorization. William held on $20,000 bail, so is Larry. Lieutenant Greg McLean explains to reporters. They arrested William on drug charges because he was uncooperative. Pressure tactic. Get him in custody. Maybe he'll confess. William refuses all interviews. So does Larry. Both eventually sentenced to probation. The investigation continues. William still isn't talking. Police focus on Larry. He lived in the house, moved into his mother's room, filled her prescriptions. Did he help cover up murder? Larry agrees to a polygraph test. Critical questions. Do you know what happened to your mother? Did you harm your mother? Do you know where your mother is? Larry answers no to everything. He passes. Investigators clear Larry. They believe he witnessed domestic violence, but had no part in his mother's death. But Larry's answers reveal what he's come to believe. His father killed her. Maybe not deliberately, but he killed her. Larry tells Detective Smith his theory. He describes the marriage as good, then immediately contradicts himself, describing the violence, the fights, the times he had to defend his mother. By 2005, the marriage was severely strained, fights getting worse, more frequent, more violent. Larry believes his father killed his mother during one of those fights. Maybe an accident. Things escalated too far. William couldn't take it back. Then William panicked. Instead of calling 911, he hid the body, somewhere in the wilderness around Post Falls. William started covering tracks, selling belongings, emptying bank accounts, creating a story about her leaving. Larry says his father never looked for Roxanne, never seemed concerned, never acted like a man whose wife was missing. That's what convinced him. After Roxanne's disappearance, William changes. His mental condition deteriorates, severe depression, withdraws from people, stops caring for himself. He develops addiction to prescription drugs, the same medications he fraudulently filled in Roxanne's name. Years pass. 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. William's physical health declines, aging badly, drugs taking their toll. By 2014, 9 years after Roxanne disappeared, William is dying. Gangrene, body shutting down, hospice care. He doesn't have long. The FBI gets involved. A dying man might confess. 2014, a hospital room in Idaho. William Tolson dying, body ravaged, mind fading between morphine and memories. A retired FBI agent sits beside him. One last attempt to get the truth, bring Roxanne home. The agent waits, watches. When William's lucid, the agent asks questions, gentle at first, then direct. William, where is Roxanne? No answer. You're dying. This is your last chance to do the right thing. Nothing. Where did you put her body? William closes his eyes. Her family deserves to know. Your son deserves to know. William looks at the agent. Sometimes seems like he wants to speak. His mouth opens, takes a breath, then closes his mouth, turns away. Hours pass. The agent waits, hopes. William maintains innocence until his last breath. Then he dies. The secret dies with him.
What investigators know. 1. William sold Roxanne's belongings late July 2005, didn't report her missing until January 2006, only after a relative called. 2. William told the neighbor, "I woke up in the morning and she was gone," in late July. Told police she disappeared August 14, 2 weeks apart. 3. William said Roxanne took her belongings. Larry's room was full of her clothing, makeup, jewelry, photographs. 4. William sold Roxanne's car. Forged signature required. 5. Continued collecting Social Security checks, filling prescriptions. 6. Roxanne left makeup, curling iron, eyeglasses, things a woman who spends time on her face and hair would never abandon. 7. No bank activity, credit card use, contact with family since August 2005. 8. Documented domestic violence history. It all points to William. But pointing isn't proving. Why wasn't William charged with murder? Without a body, murder cases are extraordinarily difficult, not impossible, but difficult. Prosecutors must prove 2 things: victim is dead and defendant killed them. Roxanne's case, they can prove she's dead. No bank activity in 9 years, no credit cards, no prescriptions refilled. A woman with bipolar disorder dependent on medications doesn't vanish voluntarily for a decade. Roxann Tolson is dead, but proving William killed her is harder. Powerful circumstantial evidence, yard sale timing, conflicting timelines, forged signature, prescription fraud, Larry's testimony about violence, William's non-cooperation. But no crime scene, no body, no witness to killing, no physical evidence, no confession. Not enough to overcome reasonable doubt. William was never charged with murder, prescription fraud, probation, lived free until he died in 2014. Everyone knew something was wrong. Nobody did anything. Neighbors heard fights, called police once, didn't follow up, didn't check on Roxanne after things went quiet. Lori bought Roxanne's belongings, thought it was odd William was selling personal items, asked about it, but accepted his answer, didn't call police. Neighbors saw William selling things throughout late summer and fall, knew she was gone. No one requested a welfare check. 4 months, Roxanne's disappearance wasn't officially reported. She was missing and no one in authority was looking. Family and friends found out years later, some still finding out today. The community failed Roxann Tolson. Years later, Lori still has Roxanne's belongings. Makeup mixed with her own, manicure set in her bathroom, frying pans in kitchen, teapot on stove, curling iron, ceramic figurines displayed in the living room. Living with a dead woman's possessions, using them daily. When reporters interview her, she talks about how unsettling it is. "You're telling me this girl went without her makeup? She looked like a woman that spends a lot of time on her face and her hair, and I have all of it." All of it. The personal items making up a woman's daily routine, things you'd never leave behind. Unless you never had the choice. Investigators have theories about where William hid Roxanne. Post Falls sits in Idaho's panhandle, surrounded by wilderness, dense forests, mountains, lakes, the Spokane River, countless places to hide a body. William needed to stay close to home, couldn't be gone days without someone noticing. He killed Roxanne, presumably late July, needed to dispose of her body and return quickly. Roxanne is likely within 30 to 50 miles of Post Falls. Police searched wooded areas, used cadaver dogs, followed tips, searched parks, construction sites, abandoned properties. Nothing. If William buried her, he chose well. Remote enough weather and wildlife would ensure she'd never be discovered. Deep enough animals couldn't dig her up. Or maybe water, the river, a lake, somewhere current would carry her away. The wilderness keeps its secrets.
Those prescriptions William kept filling. Investigators tracked every refill, every pickup, every medication. The timeline is chilling. August 2005, Roxanne disappears. William fills her prescriptions. September 2005, more refills. October 2005, continuing. November 2005, still going. December 2005, 4 months gone. January 2006, investigation begins. February 2006, arrested for fraud. 6 months William fraudulently filled his dead wife's prescriptions, used her name, profited from her identity while her body was hidden in Idaho wilderness. Calculated, cold, methodical. Not a man who killed in rage and panicked. Someone who killed his wife, then systematically exploited her death for months. Larry has had nearly 20 years to think about what happened. He defended his father at first, told himself his mother must have left, that his father was abandoned, doing what he had to survive. But as time passed, as evidence mounted, as his father's behavior became impossible to ignore, Larry's understanding shifted. He saw how his father sold everything, never looked for her, never filed reports until forced, never appeared on news, never hired investigators. He saw how his father emptied accounts, forged signatures, lied to police, stories changing constantly. Larry remembered the fights, the violence, times he had to step between his parents. He came to believe his father killed his mother.
maybe unintentionally during a fight that escalated. But he killed her, spent 9 years covering it up, 9 years denying it, took that secret to his deathbed. Larry still doesn't know where his mother is, can't visit a grave, can't give her proper burial. Roxann Tolson deserved better. She deserved a husband who didn't hurt her, a marriage without violence, a home where she felt safe. She deserved to grow old, see her son marry, meet grandchildren, spend her years collecting ceramics, maintaining that hair, wearing her Mickey Mouse watch and gold chains. She deserved to leave on her own terms, pack her bags, take her makeup and jewelry, start over somewhere new. She deserved proper burial, funeral, headstone, a place her son could visit. She deserved justice, a trial, William held accountable, convicted, sentenced to prison instead of dying free. Roxanne got none of that. Her belongings sold at a yard sale, her body hidden in wilderness, her husband lived free until dying of natural causes. But her story hasn't ended. As long as her case remains open, as long as investigators keep searching, as long as her son keeps hoping, her story continues.
August 14th, 2005. That's the official date William claims his wife disappeared. But we know it was earlier, probably late July. Roxann Tolson was 45 years old, 5'2", 110 pounds, brown hair with blonde highlights, volume that took effort to maintain, silver rings on all fingers, black Mickey Mouse watch, gold chains with charms, including "I love mommy," diamond and turquoise rings. Sweet, charming, known for taking care of her appearance, collecting ceramic figurines, being a good mother. Struggled with bipolar disorder, but managed it with medication. A woman who spent time on her face and hair, who wouldn't leave without looking put together. Her husband killed her sometime late July or early August 2005. Hid her body in Idaho wilderness, forests or mountains or lakes around Post Falls, somewhere only he knew, somewhere he never revealed even on his deathbed when an FBI agent begged for answers. William sold her belongings within days, forged signatures, emptied accounts, collected Social Security for months, filled prescriptions, created elaborate cover story. Lived free 9 years after killing her. Died in hospital 2014. Maintained innocence until last breath. 20 years later, Roxanne is still missing, still hidden, still waiting to be found, still waiting to come home, still waiting for justice she was denied. If you have any information about the disappearance of Roxann Mary Tolson, contact Post Falls Police Department, 802-773-3517. Her family deserves to bring her home. After nearly 20 years, they deserve to finally lay her to rest. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out. Resources available 24/7. Roxann's story didn't have to end this way. Don't let someone else's story end this way either. Let me know your theory in the comments below. And if you believe Roxann Mary Tolson deserves to be found, please subscribe, like this video, and share her story.